Wow. Here. All right. So welcome to the Beaver Lake Breakfast Club, and we're trying to make it a little comedy, so we'll have to throw that in the title sometime. But today is the 15th of February, and it's probably a lot of people have been wondering, well, is this one of those leap year Februaries that has 29 days? Nope, nope. This is a year it only has 28 days. So there you have it. And I'm going to start today with a real funny story of a friend of mine who's living out in California now. His name is Marty Shepard, and he used to play in the what do you call that? The second tier baseball players. Terry, what do you call that?
Call that minor leagues double A.
Minor League Double A. So he's a hard partier, and he was real excited about Baum Stadium being built down there in Fayetteville, Arkansas, and where the Razorbacks, University of Arkansas Razorback college team, will play baseball in. And so the first opening day, he went down there. He didn't have enough money for a ticket, but he went and partied at the bar a couple blocks away. And he was having just a really good time. Razorbacks were doing well, and he thought they would start letting people in about the sixth inning, and for free without a ticket. And so he left the bar after a couple hours and went up there about sixth inning and parked his car. There was no parking anywhere, so he parked in front of a fire hydrant, thinking that he was only going to be there like, not too long. And so he walks into the stadium. No sooner did he walk into the stadium than, he was about 20 steps into the stadium looking for a seat, and all of a sudden, bam, somebody hit a ball right at him, and he caught it with his hand. And because he was a baseball player and stuff, and he was probably a little tipsy, he just automatically threw it back down on the field. And he was just shocked by the whole thing, and finally found a seat and ready to sit down and see what was going on. And all of a sudden, people were pointing over his way, and he could see in the background this, like 4 or 5 policemen coming toward him. And so he gets up and starts to walk out, and they nab him. And apparently, the third base coach thought that he was trying to hit him, which of course there's just no way. He was just throwing it back on the field. And so they threw him out. They walked him to his car, all the way to his car. Chris parked in front of the fire hydrant. He got in and took off real quick, went back to the bar. And when he got back to the bar, they were watching on TV, and the game was still stopped. And they were talking about stuff, and so he got to tell everybody that, oh, that was because of me. I just caught it and threw it back. And yeah, it was you.
I think the bar was 2 blocks away, though. That was
Yeah.
only 2 or 3 blocks away to the bar.
Yeah, but the deal is, what are the odds of that?
He got back there, and they were still playing reruns of him getting walked out of the joint, And he was already he'd already made his order at the bar. Can you believe that?
Somebody saw.
They're watching the replay of what he just did,
Entertainment.
So that was the real part of the story. The main thing was he was drunk. He went up there and parked up on by the fire hydrant.
Yep.
He went in. The ball hit close to him. He caught it. He was trying to show he was a big shot baseball player, and he whizzed it back on out there. And they didn't like it. They got his ass, took him back to his car, and he drove all the way back to the bar.
Stadium.
He drove all the way back to the bar on the sidewalk. He never got back on the road. And then he watched himself on rerun when he got back to the bar.
Him driving back to the bar. He parked in front of the fire hydrant. It was a good entertainment.
This is not a person you want to go around with, if you want to know the truth, because trouble follows him wherever
He's never wrong.
he goes. I will follow him wherever he may go. That was Rusty Ass. What was his name? He's an old L.A. gang member. Rusty. What was his name? Marty. Yeah.
Marty.
So he's a
Yeah, he was.
he got kicked out of the gangs and he come and he hid out in Northwest Arkansas for a while and then finally they run him out of here.
So
But he had some funny stories because
we had that Mercedes story with him.
he had
I took my car out to the Mercedes dealership, and my glove box was locked, and they told me it was going to be $500 to get it open. They'd have to put some new thing in there, and
Did you hear that, people? They were going to get in his glove box and charge him $500. Go ahead.
they'd have to
Go
put
ahead,
the new
man.
mechanism. So Marty got in there in literally 2 seconds, and he did it
He popped it just like that.
with a spatula.
He charged us $400.
Nope.
No, I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding.
Free, and then my neighbor ordered a mechanism and put it in
And
for
what
free.
that sucker back into shape.
$3.86 on the internet.
You know, as we say back in the southeast Arkansas, ain't that some shit?
That is some shit.
Excuse us. But
Yep, that was Marty again.
Marty was one of those guys that trouble would follow him everywhere in life that he would go.
Yep.
And if you connected up with him,
Going on bad, he would make something going on bad.
he'd rip the plumbing. He'd rip your plumbing right out of the walls.
He sure did. He did that in my kitchen.
Can you imagine having a man in your house that was ripping your plumbing right out of the walls? Have you had that to your house?
It was time to say bye.
David lives here.
Well,
He has people over that rips his shit right out the walls.
he doesn't come over anymore.
Well, thank God you came to life on that one, Dan David.
For me, it was a mutual thing.
That is not a gentleman. A gentleman is someone that learns how to keep his hands to himself.
I agree.
And
Well, he had up until that point.
Try to be witty.
But I like everybody. I don't care what run of life you're from, you know? I mean, until you prove yourself.
Since I was 5 years old.
Not just colorblind, I try to be, ignorant blind too. You try to help and teach. If they don't want to learn, you got to say goodbye.
I believe God made all them races, and He's got some loved ones in every one of them. And I don't know who they are, and that's a secret with Him. But I tell you one thing, I'm going to treat that race just exactly like I treat everybody else.
There's just one race, sir, and that is the human race.
Now, my daddy told me that was okay in the daytime, but at night you needed to separate. That's what my father told me.
That's bullshit. You know it is. You learn from his mistakes.
He said they go wild when the sun goes down.
The bad.
Tell me they went wild when the sun went down.
We all do.
And that's what I kind of found out, that's pretty well prevalent to everyone. Who don't? Every race goes wild. That's why they go out at night, just go wild, isn't that right?
I agree.
Otherwise they wouldn't be out there. They wouldn't be out there, would they? The pleasure seekers.
Oh, yeah.
The pleasure seekers is who I'm talking about.
Uh-huh.
Do you seek pleasure?
The triad of life. Learn, love, and
Let me tell you
pleasure.
this story I heard. Mickey Mantle, who was the greatest hero for my generation, probably, in sports, in baseball. And he was a country boy from Ardmore, Oklahoma, or around thereby. And his best friend was Billy Martin. Billy Martin was a wild man. He was the second baseman on the Yankees, and Mickey was the center fielder. And they ran around together. Billy was the leader, and Mickey.
Good story, guys.
Mickey is the follower.
The true wonderful story. This is one of the funniest ones I've heard in a while.
So Billy got a shot. They went to a baseball and they give Billy a 12-gauge shotgun for the convention, for having him show up, him and Mickey. I don't know what they gave Mickey, but I'm sure it was quite nice. But Billy said, Mickey, he said, I want to go shoot my gun, man. He's the first gun I've ever had. I've never had no guns. Please take me somewhere and let me kill a deer or something. So he just kept on, and Mickey finally relented and said, all right, I know this one guy in New Mexico, down by San Antonio, and said he's got about 600 acres. I think he'll let us come on there and shoot whatever we want. He said, well, he said, I'll have to drive all night. So they drove all night long to San Antonio with their weapons, and they both was ready to hunt deer, I think it was. So they finally got to the guy's farm, and Mickey goes up and said, let me go up. He said, it's just now turning daybreak. He said, let me go up by myself. I try to keep it real low. And I said, and so Mickey went up and knocked on the door, and the guy goes, Mickey, and hugged his neck, and told him how happy he was to see him at 6 o'clock. And he didn't even think about 6 o'clock. He was so happy to see Mickey. So Mickey said, please, sir, could we go out there and hunt a little bit? I said, he's my partner, and he's out there in the car. I said, he's got a new gun. He won't shoot so bad. I said, we're all rigged up. He said, oh, man. He said, the place is yours. He said, Mickey said, anything. So he said, but you're going to have to do me one favor. He said, what's that, Jose? He said, you're going to have to kill that mule out there in the barn. He said, I want you to shoot it. He said, I've had it for several years, and I said, I can't. He said, I love that mule, and he said, I can't shoot it. And it's dying out there right now. It's got disease. He said, go out. He said, you'll be doing me a great favor if you kill that mule to keep me from having to do it. And old Mickey finally relented and said, okay. He said, I'll shoot you, mule. So
This is after he's famous, right, Mickey?
he was walking out to the barn to kill that mule. He said, I'm going to play a trick on Billy. And he had it in his mind. He walked up to Billy and said, Billy, he said, give my gun. He said, he said, he ain't going to let us hunt on his property. Billy went, what? After all night, we drove out of here, said, all this we've been through. He said, no, but I tell you what I'm going to do, Billy. He said, I'm going to shoot his mule. And so Billy said, damn right, that's what he deserved. So he went in the barn there and shot his mule. He heard that big gunshot. Pow! Killed that mule. And then all of a sudden he heard, bam, bam, and bam, like that. And Mickey ran out of the barn and looked up there. And he said, Billy looked at him. He said, I got 3 of his cows. He said, did you kill that mule? He said, yeah. He said, well, I got 3 of his fucking cows. Did you believe that? Instead of reacting the right way, Billy took his shotgun and killed 3 of the man's cows. Did you believe that?
Well, I guess.
Being could be that stupid.
Excuse me.
That's what that alcohol will do to you.
Oh my gosh.
They probably drank all night on the highway, driving down there, sipping on a Budweiser all the way down. Those are guys that are having
Mickey Mantle.
too much fun. They had a lot of money.
Thought I was going to be clever and not tell the truth. Always tell the truth.
Because you never know when people's listening,
Right. And how can you blame old Billy?
He was ready to kill him right off the bat. Once he heard they couldn't hunt, he was ready to shoot.
Mantle is revered, and people look up to him. If he's going to start, he wants to join in. He's got to realize. I guess Mickey Mantle then realize that, his words, people listen to. He's not going to have to. He shouldn't say on TV, "Go kill somebody," because somebody will.
I'm gonna kill his mule.
Kind of like
He won't let us hunt, so I'm gonna kill his mule. So he played that game, but Billy killed 3 of his best stock.
Yeah, well, he'd have to make. They were going to get killed anyway and eaten. So this way, they just got eaten sooner, and I bet they made amends.
I was wondering about Jose in the house. He shot him 4 times. He shot that mule 4 times. That's what he's thinking, Eddie. He shot that mule 4 freaking times.
He's hoping. He probably ran out there to take a look. If you heard the one,
That heartless bastard shot him 4 times.
My friendly pal. You know, mules. A lot of people. I know a guy that has a mule, and he's in love with that mule. They get real close to you. They have a lot of personality, and and
We had Jax. We had Jax, Papa. That's a stud mule. He goes over to the farmer next door there and whacks on the female
right.
donkey, and he gets paid $100. That was big money back in those days.
Yeah, but, can you imagine having to do it for a living? All of a sudden, that fun thing would turn into something. When it's a job, I bet it's not as fun.
It won't be. It becomes quite dull.
You going for a cup of coffee?
I can get one.
Well, I was thinking about back in college. I had a couple good stories with Mike Pence, but we ought to save that for the other day. There's at one time we were walking around the point, and he told me that he was wanting to be a banker. And I said, "Why are you going to be a banker? Because you're such a good Christian." He was the leader of the Vespers program at Hanover, and it was a really nice thing. We'd sit around and sing campfire songs, and just talk about current issues and just have some really wonderful fellowship. We'd go down to the nursing home and play checkers with the residents and sing carols and take them on outings. We met once a week. So I told him, when he told me he wanted to be a banker, I said, "Man, you got to go into politics." And I guess he heeded my advice. So there you have that. That was an interesting story. But I've had some real funny stories around here. They're just really interesting, but not that funny to the general public. The really vibrant one in this duo is Terry. So Terry comes back with his coffee. You'll think of a good story. Wait a minute. We have our videographer here, James Redmond, who wants to say a few words. Yes? Well, let me just say a few words for you. So he's thinking about going on vacation to Costa Rica and checking it out, possibly move there. And I hear it's pretty inexpensive. So when he comes back, we'll hear the numbers. And maybe he's going to write a book about it.
Yeah, the numbers are always necessary, people. You guys can't get around it. You have to live within your means. Living over the top of all your credit cards is stupid and insane. Chain around your neck for the rest of your life. Always be smart like Mr. Redmond and pre-plan everything. Try to plan it to where you eliminate most of the negative feedbacks, negative things that can happen. Even though you know there will be some bumps in the road. If you think you're going to paradise, you're wrong. It's not paradise, but it's as close as we can get to it round here, as we used to say in Arkansas. It's not there. It's not that, but it's as close as you're going to get to it. And I've heard that said by a lot of tropical countries. My favorites, I've been to a few of them. So I'm like Dan, that those beaches in St. Martin satisfy me. I was happy there. But I can't live there for 2,000 a month or.
Or, so James,
So I'm
you've
happy.
been to Costa Rica before. Approximately how much a month did you live on? And granted, you're a vegetarian. You know,
A fruitarian, probably.
do you eat seafood? Not just strictly vegetables. But what did it cost for you to live there for approximately a month? Or did you live there a month?
He told you he was going to set up a $3,000 budget.
No, no, no. on the camera.
He told us that he was, and he's going to start whittling from there. And I said, that's a great plan. Should be very comfortable. Don't you guys think out there in TV land?
But last time you did it for 1,500, right? No, it was more?
Yeah, because I stayed in a hotel.
Oh, okay.
See, there's the big thing. That's the number one cost. That's why I went into motel business to begin with, and I'm one of the reasons. And it was destiny for me, but the motel is the biggest. If you take $100 and you go out there to live, the motel's going to eat up most of that money, and then you've got the rest to budget, and you've got to be smart to live. But if they have open fruit markets and vegetable markets and fish markets and all that kind of stuff, and he becomes friendly with some of the locals and hangs out down by the fishermen in the pier, and the next thing you know, he'll get it before it ever even gets to the market. When you're friends to the fishermen so good that you get it from him instead of getting it from up there at the market,
But
now you're settling in, you know.
But he just wants his vegetables, which I could do too.
It's the same thing.
If we're buying it out, and
You get it off the truck.
somebody's making it for us, I could be a vegetarian. I really could. And he knows what to eat.
I love that.
He only does that nutritious good stuff, so I'll just have what he's having.
Guava, I just love it, man.
I'm thinking we'd do well.
Guava's one I love.
I think we'd do well in life to go down there and do what he does. Or maybe just stay here and do what he does.
He's going to eat the freshest vegetables he can.
And he's a good human being and just a good guy.
You drink cerveza? What do you drink? Mountain Dew? What?
Eat
Water? Only?
water and juices.
You ain't got no vices? Coconut oil?
Coconut milk.
Coconut milk, that is nice.
Vegetable milk, juices, and water. And
Coconut oil.
you do fruit juices too, right?
I used to comb my hair with coconut oil, and then people would say, "Where's that coming from? You know, where's that smell coming from?"
And
I
James
would never say a word, you know.
James makes his own juices too and concoctions. From lemongrass juice to
All right, break. Let's have a break right here. We'll be right back. We're going to sell some gas and oil and some tuna fish sandwiches.